Right, on to this now. KwaZulu-Natal Education MEC Sipho Hlomuka outlined this week how his department is planning to spend its almost 63 billion rands budget. The MEC has dedicated a huge amount of his budget to filling vacant teacher posts in the province. However, there is criticism of the department's budget cuts, with many raising concerns on their impact on the school feeding scheme as well as the transport scheme. The MEC joining us now for more on that. Bophela, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Let's start here.
I'm here.
And begin firstly with this issue of the schools, the 18 schools, Section 21 schools, whose water and electricity has been cut off. What have you done with that particular issue? It's now close to, 48 hours later.
Well, evening to yourself and also to the viewers. We are engaging with the municipalities that they've switched off electricity and water in different schools. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, I'm meeting Newzroom municipality. I've already met with eThekwini. We're trying to solve the problem and also engage the management of the municipalities to come with a payment plan. But what is important that we can't compromise teaching and learning. That's why we're trying our level best to engage all the relevant stakeholders, including the SGPs, because the problem is complex than what other people they know.
Yeah.
There's also a challenge with the billing system from the municipalities. But we're not interested about that at the moment. What our interest is to ensure that there's teaching and learning in schools.
Yeah. Explain to me that complexity. I mean, I would think you make allocations and the schools must prioritize the payment of services, or is another department responsible for the payment of these services?
We are correctly. So in terms of the schools of Section 21, as we allocate budget to schools, but the problem when the municipalities they have a problem with the schools, they don't engage schools directly. They just go straight to our offices and switch off lights and also water. Hence, we're meeting with them tomorrow in the morning to say, let's have a plan to deal with that. But part of the complexity that I'm talking about is the issue of a billing system from the municipality, where sometimes they will bill schools with the wrong invoices in terms of the meters. But we're saying that is our secondary. Our primary is to make sure that municipalities, they open meters, electric meters and also water, so that learning and teaching won't be affected. We'll then have a plan, because we are government that is a local government and a provincial government. We need to work together. That's why there's a DDM that says, let's work together to ensure that we fast track service delivery to our people.
Yeah. So in simple terms, for us to understand, will you be bailing out the schools at this particular point? Because clearly the principals and the SGB did not prioritize the payment of these services.
It's our responsibility to ensure that there's teaching and learning in schools. Hence, if you call it, we're bailing them out, is fine, but it's our responsibility to ensure that there's teaching and learning in schools.
Yeah. Let's then talk about your budget. I mean, one of the issues that would have been raised, and I've already highlighted it, is that the cuts in your budget will have an impact on an already challenged education system as far as vacancies are concerned, being able to attract the right people. You have a massive vacancy situation. How are you going to approach that?
Well, in my budget policy speech, I did indicated that there is a cut which affects the operations of schools and of the department in terms of those who are office-based, and we have already engaged with the treasurer and also the office of the premier to ensure that they assist us. But however, schools that won't be affected. I think after 2 weeks from now, we're going to advertise more than 600 posts for educators. For all those that are unemployed educators, they will be given opportunity to apply, and then they contest each other. Then we'll be able to employ educators. Then we'll need now to engage treasurer to deal with the issue of office-based.
Yeah. The Democratic Alliance, talking to us yesterday, said part of the challenges that you would be facing in the province is, for example, the bargaining council agreement that would have seen the wages of the teachers being raised. And this is the issue that has led, of course, to departments being affected, especially education department being affected in terms of the money, because the money has had to go and pay the salaries of teachers. This also affecting other aspects, including the scholar transport, where a lot of the learners have got to walk for kilometers to get to where they need to be. How are you going to make extra revenue? I mean, if there is any other way.
Well, for sure you are aware that we receive a budget from national. If the minister is saying that, you know that the minister, it can't be raised by the DA because our minister is coming from DA. But we are meeting with the minister on next week to deal with all issues. We've agreed that let's meet and try by our level best to solve the issues of teaching and learning and also the allocation to schools, which also affect the issue of learners transport. In our budget policy speech, we did indicate that we are supposed to receive 581 million for scholar transport, but we have been given plus or minus 300 million, which means that there's a deficit of more than 200 million in terms of scholar transport. But we're engaging with Treasurer because we're working as one government.
Yeah. Feeding schemes, are they largely going to see the kind of challenges that we have seen, at least in the last 18 months?
There's no crisis in terms of the nutrition program, but we also dealing with the issues of service providers who are not paid because of different reasons. Others, they submit invoices which missing information or even supporting documents. There are delays in some of the service providers who are dealing with that, who have engaged with the management to try and solve all those problems.
Well, Pella, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on this evening.
Thank you very much.
That is the MEC for Education in the KwaZulu-Natal province.